Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes.
Ah, yes.
Today we're taking a deep dive into Mother by Maxim Gorky.
Ooh,
It's
a powerful story.
it is a powerful story set in pre-revolutionary Russia,
Yes.
and we have your copy right here ready to unpack.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
Mother is so much more than just a story, you know?
Right.
It dives into the human condition,
Mm-hmm.
exploring themes of poverty and injustice, the rise of revolutionary ideas, and the surprising transformation of a seemingly ordinary woman.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, can you give us a little taste of what we're in
That's
for? Just a
it.
quick overview of the main plot and characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The story centers around Pelageya Nilovna Vlasova,
Okay.
a woman living a life of quiet desperation in a small factory town. She's deeply religious,
Okay.
abused by her husband,
Oh,
and essentially resigned to her lot in life.
right.
Then her son Pavel, a factory worker,
Yeah.
starts bringing home dangerous new ideas. Socialist ideas that threaten to upend their world.
That's where things start to get interesting.
Exactly.
From what I gathered, this is where Pelageya Nilovna's journey really takes off.
Exactly. At first, she's terrified.
Right.
She doesn't understand these new ideas, and she fears for Pavel's safety.
Right.
But as he becomes more involved in the revolutionary movement, holding secret meetings in their home,
Uh-huh.
she's slowly drawn into this new world.
Right.
And that's when her transformation begins.
Okay, so let's dive into the beginning.
Sure.
The book opens with a pretty bleak picture of life in this factory town, right?
It's stark and unflinching.
Yeah.
Gorky paints a vivid picture of poverty, drudgery, and the constant threat of violence. One passage that always stands out is the description of the workers trudging through the mud to the factory.
Yeah.
Their faces gray, their movements weary.
Yeah.
It sets the scene perfectly,
Right.
highlighting the oppressive atmosphere that breeds discontent and ultimately revolution.
And within that atmosphere, we meet Pelageya Nilovna.
Yes.
What struck me was how Gorky portrays her deep religious faith,
Right.
especially given that it seems at odds with her son's growing atheism.
Yeah.
How does that play out?
It's a fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
Initially, her faith is a source of comfort, a way to endure the hardships of her life.
Okay.
But as Pavel brings home these new ideas, ideas that directly challenge her beliefs,
Right.
she's forced to confront her own assumptions. Her faith doesn't simply disappear.
Right.
It evolves alongside her growing understanding of the revolutionary struggle.
So it's not this simple clash of religion versus revolution.
Not at all. It's much more nuanced.
Okay.
In a way, her faith becomes a source of strength for her.
Uh-huh.
It gives her the courage to stand up for what she believes in, even when it means defying the authorities and risking everything.
Let's talk about Pavel for a minute.
Okay?
He's clearly the catalyst for change, not just for his mother, but for the whole community. What makes him so compelling as a character?
He's idealistic, passionate, and utterly committed to the cause.
Okay.
But he's not just a fiery revolutionary spouting slogans.
Right.
Gorky gives us glimpses of his doubts, his struggles, his evolving understanding of the complexities of the movement. For instance, there's a powerful scene where he debates with the Little Russian, a seasoned revolutionary, about the use of violence.
Okay.
It shows Pavel's intellectual growth, his willingness to grapple with difficult questions.
Yes, speaking of the Little Russian, he's quite a character.
He is.
He brings this dry humor and wisdom to the story.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He acts as a mentor to both Pavel and Pelageya Nilovna, offering guidance and support as they navigate this new world.
Yeah.
He's seen it all, experienced the highs and lows of the movement, and he brings a sense of perspective, a reminder that change doesn't happen overnight.
So we have this backdrop of poverty and injustice, this brewing revolutionary spirit.
Yes.
And then things really kick off when Pavel starts holding secret meetings in their home.
That's where we're introduced to this fascinating cast of characters.
Yeah.
Young revolutionaries, intellectuals, workers, each with their own motivations and struggles.
Yeah.
It creates this sense of community, of solidarity,
Right.
which is so crucial to the movement.
But it also brings danger right to Pelageya Nilovna's doorstep.
It does.
I mean, the police are bound to catch on eventually.
And they do.
Yeah.
The raid on their home is a pivotal moment in the story.
Right.
It's terrifying, of course.
Right.
And Pelageya Nilovna's initial reaction is pure fear,
Sure.
but it also marks a turning point for her.
Uh-huh.
It's as if the injustice of it all,
Right.
the blatant disregard for their basic rights, ignites something within her.
So this timid, God-fearing woman suddenly finds herself thrust into the heart of the revolutionary struggle?
It's a gradual process, but that raid is a catalyst.
Okay.
She starts small, helping to smuggle leaflets into the factory, hiding fugitives, attending meetings. Each step she takes, each risk she embraces, chips away at her old fears.
Right.
And reveals a strength she never knew she possessed.
And it's not just about courage, is it? She's also grappling with these new ideas.
Exacto.
Trying to make sense of them in the context of her own life.
She's constantly questioning, learning, and evolving.
Yeah.
Gorky brilliantly captures her intellectual awakening alongside her emotional journey.
Yeah?
One passage that really highlights this is when she says,
Okay.
I used to think that only learned people could understand such things.
Right.
But now I see that even a simple woman like me can grasp the truth.
It's like she's discovering a whole new world.
Yeah.
A world of ideas and possibilities that were previously unimaginable to her.
Exactly. And that world opens up even further when Pavel is arrested and put on trial.
Oh.
The trial itself is a sham.
Right.
A clear demonstration of the corrupt and unjust system they're fighting against.
Right.
But it also provides a platform for the revolutionaries to speak their truth.
Yeah.
To articulate their vision for a better world.
And Pelageya Nilovna is right there in the courtroom, witnessing it all.
Yes.
How does this experience shape her?
It deepens her understanding of the stakes, the complexities, and the sheer injustice of the system. But it also strengthens her resolve.
Okay.
She sees the courage of her son and his comrades, their willingness to sacrifice everything for their beliefs.
Right.
And it inspires her to do the same.
It's interesting how Gorky portrays the different reactions to Pavel's arrest.
Yes.
Some people are terrified, some are skeptical, but others like Pelageya Nilovna are galvanized by it.
It highlights the power of individual choice.
Right.
The way different people respond to adversity.
Yeah.
For Pelageya Nilovna, this isn't just about saving her son. It's about fighting for a future where no mother has to endure what she's endured.
So she's moving beyond personal grief and embracing a wider cause.
Absolutely. She's becoming a symbol of resistance.
Yeah.
A mother, not just to her son, but to the entire movement.
And all this while still grappling with her faith, her fears, and the very real danger she faces every day.
Right.
It's quite a journey.
It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of love and conviction to overcome even the most daunting obstacles.
I'm eager to hear what happens next. How does this newfound strength manifest itself in Pelageya Nilovna's actions?
Well, that's where we really start to see her transformation take shape.
Okay.
She becomes bolder, more outspoken, and her actions have a ripple effect, inspiring others to join the cause.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yes, it is. One of the most striking aspects of Pelageya Nilovna's journey is how she becomes a source of strength for others.
You know, I was thinking about that at the beginning of the book. She's so timid, so afraid. But as she becomes more involved in the movement, she finds this incredible inner strength. And that strength seems to radiate outward, touching the lives of those around her.
It's a subtle but powerful transformation. She starts by offering small acts of kindness, comforting other mothers whose sons have been arrested, sharing her meager food with those in need. But as she gains confidence, she becomes more outspoken, more willing to challenge those in power.
And it's not just about words, is it? She takes real risks, putting herself in danger to help others.
There's a scene where she hides Nikolai Vasovchikov, a young revolutionary who has escaped from prison, in her home. The police are searching everywhere, and she knows that if they find him, she'll be arrested, but she doesn't hesitate. She's driven by this deep sense of compassion, this belief that it's her duty to protect those who are fighting for a better world.
That scene is so suspenseful, you can practically feel her heart pounding as she tries to outsmart the police. But it also reveals her quick thinking and resourcefulness. She's not just a passive follower, she's becoming a skilled operator in this dangerous game of cat and mouse.
Exactly. And as she navigates this world, she encounters a wide range of characters who represent different facets of the revolutionary struggle.
That's one of the things I love about this book. The characters are so vividly drawn, each with their own unique perspective and motivations. You have the fiery Natasha, for example, who's always pushing the boundaries, urging the group towards more radical action.
And then there's the little Russian who brings this calm, almost philosophical approach to the movement. He's a strategist, a patient observer who understands the need for careful planning and long-term vision. He's also a source of humor and wisdom, offering a counterpoint to Natasha's impulsiveness.
He's the one who encourages Pelageya Nilovna to embrace her own voice, to use her experiences to connect with other working-class women and draw them into the movement.
That's a crucial turning point for her. She starts attending women's meetings, sharing her story, and gradually she realizes the power of her own words. She might not have a formal education, but she has lived experience. She has witnessed the injustices of the system firsthand, and she knows how to connect with people on an emotional level.
It's fascinating to see how her understanding of the revolution evolves. At first, it's all about protecting her son. But as she learns more, as she interacts with people from different backgrounds, she begins to see the bigger picture. She realizes that this isn't just about Pavel. It's about fighting for a more just and equitable world for everyone.
And that realization leads her beyond the confines of her small town. She starts traveling to other cities, spreading the word, organizing support for the prisoners, and connecting with a wider network of revolutionaries. It's a dangerous undertaking, of course, but she's fearless. She's driven by this unwavering belief that a better world is possible, and she's willing to risk everything to make it happen.
There's this one line in the book that really captures her transformation. "I used to be afraid of my own shadow," she says. "Now I'm not afraid of anything."
It's a testament to the power of the movement to empower individuals to awaken a sense of agency and purpose. Pelageya Nilovna goes from being a victim of circumstance to becoming an active agent of change.
And she does it all while remaining true to herself. She never loses her compassion, her empathy, her deep connection to her community. In fact, those qualities become her greatest strengths.
Exactly. She embodies this idea that revolution isn't just about ideology or grand pronouncements. It's about people, about human connection, about recognizing the shared humanity that binds us all.
You know, one of the things that struck me most about Mother is the way Gorky portrays the importance of community. The revolutionaries rely on each other for support, encouragement, and practical assistance. They share their meager resources, they risk their lives for each other, and they find solace in their shared struggle.
It's a powerful reminder that we're stronger together than we are alone, and it's particularly relevant in the context of the story where the characters are facing such overwhelming odds. They're fighting a system that is rigged against them, a system that seeks to crush their spirit and silence their voices, but through their collective action, they find a way to resist, to persist, and to keep the flame of hope alive.
One scene that really captures this sense of community is when Pelageya Nilovna visits Pavel in prison. She meets another mother whose son has also been arrested. And they share this moment of solidarity, this understanding that transcends their individual circumstances. They're united by their shared grief, but also by their shared determination to fight for a better future.
It's a beautiful moment, and it speaks to the universal nature of the struggle for justice. These mothers come from different backgrounds. They may have different beliefs, but they're united by their love for their children and their desire to see a world where no parent has to endure the pain of seeing their child unjustly imprisoned.
And that sense of solidarity extends beyond the immediate family. It encompasses the entire community of revolutionaries, those who are actively involved in the movement and those who support them from the sidelines.
There's a network of ordinary people who provide safe houses, distribute leaflets, raise funds, and offer moral support. They may not be on the front lines, but their contributions are essential to the success of the movement.
It's a reminder that everyone has a role to play in the struggle for social change, and that even small acts of courage and compassion can make a difference.
And as Pelageya Nilovna's involvement deepens, she encounters a wide range of characters who represent different facets of the revolutionary struggle. We have the fiery Natasha, for example, who's always pushing the boundaries, challenging the status quo and demanding more radical action. And then there's the little Russian who brings this calm, almost philosophical perspective to the movement. He understands the need for strategic planning patience and building a broad-based movement that can truly challenge the power structure. He also has this incredible ability to find humor and joy in the midst of struggle.
It's interesting how Gorky balances those different approaches. You have the firebrands who are ready to take to the streets, and then you have the strategists who are thinking about the long game, and then you have someone like Pelageya Nilovna who brings this deeply human, empathetic perspective to the movement.
It's that blend of perspectives that makes the movement so dynamic and ultimately so successful. They need the passion, the energy, and the willingness to take risks, but they also need the patience, the strategy, and the understanding of how to build a sustainable movement that can withstand the inevitable setbacks.
And they need people like Pelageya Nilovna who can connect with the hearts and minds of ordinary people, who can inspire them to believe that a better world is possible.
Precisely, she becomes the embodiment of the movement's ideals. She's not a detached intellectual. She's a woman who has lived through hardship, who has experienced loss and grief, and who has emerged from those experiences with a newfound strength and a fierce determination to create a more just and compassionate world.
So we've talked about Pelageya Nilovna's transformation, her growing involvement in the movement and the importance of community. But what about the actual revolution? How does Gorky portray the events that unfold as the movement gains momentum?
He captures the energy, the excitement, and the danger of those times. There are scenes of protests, strikes, clashes with the police, and he doesn't shy away from the violence that often accompanies revolution. But he also highlights the moments of hope, the acts of solidarity, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of a better future.
One scene that really stands out is the May Day demonstration. Thousands of workers gather in the town square, defying the authorities, demanding better working conditions, and an end to oppression. It's a powerful display of collective action, and it shows the growing strength of the movement.
And it's a moment of great risk for Pelageya Nilovna. She knows that she's being watched by the police, that she could be arrested at any moment, but she's determined to be there to stand in solidarity with her comrades, to show the authorities that they cannot silence the voices of the people.
And it's in that scene that she takes one of the most daring actions of the entire book. She climbs onto a platform and begins to speak to the crowd, sharing her own story, urging them to stand up for their rights, to fight for a world where their children can live in dignity and freedom.
It's a moment of extraordinary courage. She's risking everything, but she's driven by this profound belief that her voice matters, that her story can inspire others, that even a simple woman like her can make a difference in the world.
And that's what makes her such a compelling character. She's not a superhero. She's not a flawless revolutionary. She's a real person with her own doubts and fears, but she's driven by this deep sense of love and compassion, and she's willing to put everything on the line to fight for what she believes in.
And that's a message that resonates with readers even today in a world where so many people feel powerless in the face of injustice. Pelageya Nilovna's story reminds us that even ordinary people can make a difference, that even small acts of courage can have a ripple effect, and that the fight for social justice is a fight worth fighting.
I'm really curious to see how Gorky brings this all together. We've seen Pelageya Nilovna's transformation, the growing momentum of the movement, the challenges and setbacks they face along the way. But how does it all culminate? What's the ultimate message of this powerful story? So we left off with Pelageya Nilovna taking a huge risk.
Speaking at the May Day demonstration,
Right.
what are the consequences of that action?
It feels like a turning point, both for her and for the movement.
You're right, it is a turning point.
Right.
It cements her role as a leader, a voice for the voiceless, but it also makes her a target.
Right.
The authorities are already suspicious of her,
Yeah.
and now they have concrete evidence of her involvement in the movement.
Right.
It's only a matter of time before they come for her.
And they do, don't they? I remember that moment in the book when she's arrested
Yes.
for distributing Pavel's writings.
Wow.
It felt almost inevitable given how much she was putting herself out there.
Exactly, and her arrest is a heartbreaking moment.
Right.
But it also reveals her incredible strength and resilience. Even in prison, she continues to fight.
Yeah.
She becomes a source of inspiration for the other prisoners,
Yeah.
organizing them, educating them,
Right.
and keeping their spirits up.
There's a line she says to the police when they arrest her that really struck me.
"You can lock me up," she says, "but you can't lock up the truth."
Powerful.
It's this quiet defiance, this understanding that their cause is bigger than any one person, even herself.
It's a testament to the power of ideas,
Yeah.
the way they can spread even in the most oppressive environments. Pelageya Nilovna becomes a symbol of hope,
Right.
a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can't be extinguished.
What I find so compelling about her character is that she's not this hardened revolutionary,
Right.
spewing slogans and calling for violence. She remains grounded, compassionate,
Yeah.
even as she faces unimaginable hardship.
That's what makes her so relatable, so inspiring.
Right.
She's not a distant figure, a mythical heroine.
Right.
She's a mother, a grandmother,
Uh-huh.
a woman who loves and cares for those around her, even her enemies.
Yeah.
And it's that love, that compassion that drives her actions.
And it's what ultimately makes her so effective.
Yeah.
She's able to connect with people on the human level, to break through the fear and apathy that the authorities have instilled in them.
You know, there's a passage in the book that beautifully captures this essence of Pelageya Nilovna. It's when she's talking to a group of young revolutionaries, and she says,
Okay.
"Remember, comrades, that we're not fighting machines.
Right.
We're fighting hearts and minds."
That's a powerful message.
It is.
It reminds us that revolution isn't just about overthrowing a system.
Right.
It's about transforming people, about awakening a sense of justice and compassion in the hearts of even those who have been complicit in the old order.
and that's the true legacy of Pelageya Nilovna.
Yeah.
She doesn't just fight for a better world, she embodies that better world in her own actions.
Right.
She shows us that change is possible,
Yeah.
that even in the face of overwhelming odds, we can choose love over hate, courage over fear, and hope over despair.
So as the book draws to a close, what becomes of Pelageya Nilovna?
Wow.
Does she ever reunite with Pavel? Do they see their dreams for a better world realized?
Well, I don't want to spoil the ending for our listeners.
Okay.
But I will say this, the ending is both hopeful and bittersweet.
Okay.
It acknowledges the sacrifices that have been made, the losses that have been endured, but it also affirms the enduring power of the human spirit.
And the enduring power of love, right?
Yes.
Because ultimately that's what drives Pelageya Nilovna.
It is.
Her love for her son,
Yeah.
her love for her community, her love for a world where justice and compassion prevail.
Exactly. And that love is contagious. It spreads to those around her, inspiring them to fight for a better world, even in the face of unimaginable adversity.
Wow, what a journey. I'm left with so much to think about. What about you? What struck you most about Mother?
For me, it's the power of transformation. Pelageya Nilovna starts as a timid, almost broken woman, but through her experiences, through her love for her son and her growing awareness of the injustices around her, she becomes this incredible force for change.
Right. It's a reminder that we all have the potential for growth, for courage, for making a difference in the world, even in the most oppressive circumstances. Even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles, the human spirit can triumph.
And that's the beauty of literature, isn't it? It allows us to step into the shoes of others, to experience the world through their eyes, and to be inspired by their stories.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Mother by Maxim Gorky. It's a book that will stay with me for a long time.
I agree. It's a powerful and timely reminder of the importance of fighting for what we believe in, of standing up for justice and compassion, and of never losing hope in the face of adversity.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on Books and Bytes.